Hello, class. I wanted to go over some basics of MLA format in case the readings are kind of confusing you. So I'm going to pull up a couple files from the Start Working tab. First and foremost, MLA does stand for the Modern Language Association, and it has been in existence for a very long time. We're talking late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's nothing new. And if it makes it a little easier, just think about it as a universal format that certain disciplines in higher education have chosen to use. If you think about it like if you have a foreign exchange student, foreign exchange students often have an easier time in math and science classes than they may in some of the humanities classes like English, because math and science are often fairly universal concepts. So the MLA format, along with various other styles like APA and Chicago style, just serve as a way to kind of give this universal format for a paper to be written. MLA format is going to be used in a lot of humanities and composition, English, literature courses. Chicago style is going to be used in primarily history courses, and APA format is going to be used in a lot of your allied health and education type classes. So I've included several different documents to help you, but the specific one I kind of wanted to look at is the MLA research lecture sheet. This is posted in a weekly module, and you really need to go through and kind of read it. This is a complement to the MLA section of your handbook. You do need to read both. So in the MLA lecture sheet, it gives you the parts of a research paper, including a title page, an outline, the body, and the works cited. It gives you specifics there. It does tell you that in an MLA paper, at least for this class, you must have what we call in-text or parenthetical citations. You have to have them. If you look at your project directions when we get further along in the course, you will fail a paper if you do not include your in-text or parenthetical citations. And a easy way to explain that might be quotes with proof of where you got them. I briefly break down some source types as well. EBSCOhost is basically a daddy database, if you will. EBSCOhost serves as a search engine for many other databases. And that, of course, is available via your public library web or Carl Albert's library website as well. We, in this class, are allowed to use EBSCO for print or electronic sources because we are an online class. Therefore, many of us are limited in our access to print materials. I also detail specifics on print sources, other types of electronic sources. I also do a little bit of explanation here for Turnitin.com. This is an originality checker that you will be required to use. You will be required to submit the body of your paper there as well. I also give a brief breakdown into block, or what we call long quotations. They do have their own specific format that you need to follow. I also give some breakdown as to formatting of your paper. And something of note, if you look at page 161 in your handbook, that is the beginning of your sample research paper in MLA style. So it will kind of give you the logistics and the breakdown of some of your spacing. So make sure you pay attention to that. I'm going to back out and go to another handout that I'm encouraging you to read and post any questions if you have. This is an example paper that I've included some notes for as well. So this is a mock paper, but in my explanations, I've actually included citations or example citations. So you will have a header on the top right-hand corner. You will embed that header using a page number feature, whether you're using Google Docs or Microsoft Word. You'll insert page number and you'll add your last name. That repeats because it's embedded ½ inch from the top. That means it's grayed out if you're looking at it in Word or Docs, and it repeats at the top of each page. You have to do the insert number feature in order for your pages to count. If you just type the number 1, only a number 1 will show up over and over again. On the top left-hand side of the page, this is called a heading. This appears only on the first page. It is not embedded and it does not repeat. So you will include your name, my name, class name. Note that your section number will differ. I'm teaching 3 sections of Comp 2, so whatever section applies to you, and that can be found in the top left-hand corner. For example, I'm in Freshman Composition 2, section 6339 at this moment. And of course, the date, and the date does need to be in MLA format. Notice there are no commas. Notice the number goes before the month and the month is spelled out. You will have the title of your paper and it should be centered. I've given you a very basic print source example. All of the examples are also provided in your textbook in the MLA section. Here I have named the author. This is a made-up citation, but I've named the author in my signal phrase. I have included my quote. Very specifically, my quote is wrapped in quote marks. And since I've already indicated my author, I'm going to just leave my page number here in parentheses. Note my period goes after my parentheses, not inside my quote marks. That is a print source example. There are various ways to write a print source. That is just one way. The next citation I have my own information that I've created. And then I have a quote that is wrapped in quote marks. In my parenthetical citation at the end, I've included the author's last name and the page number with the period. That's another print source example. This is a long or block quote example. You will have an introductory sentence of some sort, and note that you do not use a period or a comma. You use a colon to start your quote. Your quote should be tabbed in, at least usually 2 tabs, and you do not, ironically enough, wrap it in quotes. The tab is its own indication that it's a quote. And then you will do parenthetical citation at the end, the last name of the author, and the page number, should that apply. But what if you don't have page numbers? So you list as much information as possible. So in How I Pass Comp, so I've made up a title here, and I've formatted my title accordingly. Susie Smith declared that quoted material goes here. So I've wrapped my quote in quote marks, and then I've included the further citation because there's not page numbers. And there are many ways to do this, and these are not the sole ways to do it. And depending on what type of information you have and how you're laying it out, you may want to choose to do something differently. I'm just giving you some examples. Ideally, whatever you do put in your in-text citation at the end, in your parentheses, that should point to the first entry on your works cited. So, for example, I've cited the title of the article that I've pretend quoted here, and it's by Susie Smith. So in my signal phrase, I'm given Smith. In my parenthetical citation, I'm given the title of the article. From one or both of those, I can find that entry on a works cited page. So if you don't include the first thing in your works cited entry in your quote marks, make sure whatever you put in your signal phrase allows you to find it. I also detail some concepts that you may have in EBSCO as far as web sources. There's that.